Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for all things horror and cinema. Today we are diving into the chilling world of the 2002 movie The Ring. The Ring is an American remake of the Japanese movie Ringu, which I have also seen and it is also amazing, but this American remake was released in 2002 and straight away the psychological horror film became a classic in its own right, leaving audiences terrified and intrigued. It stars Naomi Watts as Rachel Keller, a journalist who investigates a mysterious videotape that curses anyone who watches it with death 7 days later. This film came out in an era where I was going to the cinema quite a lot to watch horror movies as a young teenager. I would have been around about 14 years old, 15 years old with different groups of friends, and it was a great time for me. This story kicks off when Rachel, who has recently taken on the job of a single mother to her son Noah, she is drawn in to investigate a story about a videotape that has been linked to the deaths of several teenagers. When she ends up watching the videotape, Rachel soon learns that the ominous images contained in it are more than just a story. They are a prelude to her own fate. What's fascinating here is how the film weaves together elements of traditional horror with a very modern twist. It effectively blends the suspense of a mystery with supernatural elements that leave us questioning the reality of what we are seeing. I always remember before watching this film, me and my friends, we were all wondering and chatting about what would be on the videotape that's, in the movie, the one that curses you. Are they going to play this tape in the movie? Well, of course they do, and it's very, very creepy with lots of creepy imagery. I remember feeling like I was kind of underwater when I was watching it for the very first time, and it was very strange. Actually, the first time I watched it, I did have like my fingers over my face because I was a little bit scared that there was going to be a pop-up jump scare moment. Naomi Watts delivers a remarkable performance as Rachel in this movie. Her portrayal of a mother faced with a terrifying curse is both compelling and quite relatable. You really feel her desperation and her fear as she races against time to uncover the mystery behind the videotape before her 7 days runs out. Now, character Aidan, played by David Doffman, adds another layer to this film. His character serves as a psychological anchor for Rachel and brings an innocent yet haunting presence to the narrative. Throughout the film, their dynamic is both heartwarming and distressing in some parts, emphasizing the emotional stakes involved. Now, Gore Verbinski's approach to The Ring is masterful. He uses a muted color palette that creates a sort of cold, unsettling atmosphere. The cinematography as well, it captures the eerie moments with precision. Whether if it's the haunting visuals on that videotape or the chilling landscapes of Seattle, every shot is crafted to enhance the feeling of dread, and I think that word dread is just the perfect word for this videotape and for the whole movie. The film's pacing is equally impressive. The tension builds quite gradually using silence and then sudden shocks effectively. There's a blend of dread that lingers long after watching and some jump scares that will definitely catch you off your guard. Like this scene where the mum talks about finding her daughter's dead body in the closet and then talks about seeing her face before suddenly cutting to that very scene. And I don't know what that poor girl went through, but her face absolutely terrifies me. Now, beyond the sheer horror, The Ring dives into deeper themes such as the nature of fear, the consequences of our actions, and also the impact of media consumption. In other words, the cursed tape serves as a metaphor for how media can spread quickly and provoke fear, much like urban legends. And if you think about that age that we live in right now with social media, we know when somebody posts some video that goes viral worldwide and also provokes fear If you think about it, The Ring was definitely foreshadowing our future, which on its own is a bit spooky. The existential horror of knowing you have a limited time left to live adds an emotional depth to the movie, making it more than just a typical horror flick. It asks viewers to reflect on their own relationship with technology and media. The Ring has left a lasting impact on the horror genre and pop culture. Its influence can be seen throughout the 2000s in various horror films, trying to replicate its success, leading to a massive wave of remakes of Asian horror films. But of course, the famous scene that everybody always talks about, everybody that always remembers from The Ring, is the little girl coming out of the TV during the final act. Now, I already knew about the girl coming out of the TV before I watched this movie, because I ended up watching something, I think it was a TV show, and they were talking about like 50 greatest horror movie moments, and the Japanese version, Ringu, was on there. And of course, you know, the reason why it was on there because they were talking about that particular scene when the girl comes out of the TV. So I already knew about it, but it's still brilliant. Nothing really prepares you for what happens. And just to play devil's advocate here a minute, I do think that by today's standards, because when I went back and rewatched this very recently to do this review, it doesn't have the same impact today that it did back in 2002, which is not surprising, you know? It does look a little artificial with the CGI, and you all know about, you know, my thoughts on CGI in horror. But if you compare it to the Japanese version, Ringu, that version of this particular scene has aged a lot better than the American version. That's just my opinion. Now, the movie did spawn a sequel, The Ring 2, and even a prequel called Rings, but none have quite matched the original's magic. It's actually ironic, because while the sequel tried to expand the mythology, nothing can actually beat the chilling simplicity of the original film. So, The Ring is a brilliantly crafted horror film that doesn't rely solely on jump scares, but builds an unsettling atmosphere that lingers. The performances are strong, the cinematography is hauntingly beautiful, and the themes resonate with audiences even today. I am going to give The Ring a solid 8 out of 10. It is a must-watch for horror fans and, you know, those who appreciate a good psychological thriller. But this score, you know, it might have been a little bit higher back in the day, maybe 10 years ago, but, you know, 8 is still a very good rating, and I think 8 out of 10 is just the perfect score for me for this film. But what about you guys? Have you watched The Ring? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments box below. Okay then guys, that is a wrap. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe for more movie content. Until next time guys, be careful about what you watch. You never know what might follow you home. I'll see you next time.